All right, so we gave up on TikTok. We only having YouTube and Twitch, and yes. So we're just gonna do that. We're gonna cover the round number 3. Rapid now. We got Magnus board number 1 with Eduardo. Let's call him Teddy or something. Teddy, Eddie. They played the Sicilian. No, they didn't play a Sicilian. It was a Queen's Pawn. Nimzo, D4. Nimzo. Knight to F1. Does he want to go knight G3? I think he's messing around a bit, but that's fine. He can allow that. Bishop B3 developing. B4 grabbing space. D7 rook C. He's gonna open up the C file. Rook C8 F4 grabbing more space, and this is where we are now. And where the heck did I put the chat? Wait a minute, because I don't see the chat. Oh, the chat is here. Do I have to? It's not on my screen. Okay, then we're gonna do this. Hello, Gasson. So I'm really struggling with the setup nowadays. Again, let me open up this. All right, so finally, I hope. Yeah, but there is a problem. I still don't have the chat on my own. Ah, it is now. Is it? Okay, I'm gonna keep it here for now. And let me see. All right, so you guys see the board indeed, and you see the chat, and I do see the chat, and that means we can do this. Okay, so here we are now. So we got Magnus board number 1, Nepo board number 2, MVL or Maxime Vachela grab board number 3 in this rapid round number 3, right? Eric Gaisi plays Javokir Sindarov, Alexander Grishchuk, board number 8, Nihal Sarin, board number 10, Rajabov, and a bunch of other super players. Alexander Donchenko for Germany playing. Ali Reza, board number 17. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. Hey, Gasson, wishing you all the best, brother. You probably going to play Magnus, yeah? If it's the Norwegian Championship in Rapid and Blitz, you play Magnus. Ask him an autograph, of course. So what have we got near? Rook Fe8. That's a lot of power. That it's not too many trades took place. Move number 15. Wait a second. The heck am I talking about? There's just one trade happened, right? Other than that, we got all the pieces. Knight to B3 plays Magnus. What does that do? I don't know. Does he intend on doing C4 to C5? I wonder. I'm not sure. What else? Why did he play Knight B3? You want to play C5 or something? It's not very clear. Still a lot of happenings. There's a billion pieces here untraded and this and that. Just go with the Italian, a bit more aggressive, no? Just play the Italian. Develop fast. Strong attack, Gasson. I'd go with the Italian, I guess. But if you study the English opening, I don't see what's the problem with that. So you could play it, of course. If you're comfortable with, it's perfectly fine. I don't think that's a problem. Personally, I'd probably play Italian. Uh, Scotch game, also kind of cool. The Scotch game. And King's Gambit, of course. Why not? Yes. Focus on the Italian game. You attack the F7 right from the very start. Absolutely. Totally. So what is Teddy doing here? Bishop F8. Bishop F8. Clearing the way for the rook, I guess. Why is the chat disappearing at my end when I'm doing arrows here? Appearance, embed in stream. Filtering, embed in stream. Well, it is embed in stream, no? Default theme, message alignment, that. Hide messages, what? Appearance, compact mode, always on top. Okay, click through mode. Okay, let me see if now stays. Ah, yeah. So I had to click, for Christ's sake. I had to click always on top. Those endless options drive me nuts. Okay. C5, which I did say at some point. C5, after knight d4 to b3 c5, which I did mention. There was the only one that made sense in my mind. And he defends it generously with pawn, knight, and bishop. So if black captures with a pawn, I guess Magna's going to take with the knight because attacks b7 as well. And if bishop takes, I think white is more than happy to take back with the bishop. But no, he didn't act on this one because it would have given white probably a lot of power. So now I don't know what white plays. You could just keep developing. Like bishop c4. And I think looks very promising, but he chose d6. He takes d6. And so black just dropped a pawn. I didn't expecting them not to take. I'm telling you honestly here, Gasson. I didn't expect black not to capture on c5. Because now looks to me after bishop captures, he want to take on e4 because of the knight and because of the rook. I see. Well, okay. Okay. If he insists, I guess you sort of can, but bishop c4 and this and that. So let's take it one by one. White's turn. I guess you have to capture. Like, you kind of have to. Knight takes. Knight takes, rook takes. And then hell, bishop d3, attack the rook, attack h7. I think it starts looking very good for white now here. I'm not sure this one is very powerful. Bang, boom, bang, and bishop d3 again. Knight takes, rook takes, bishop d3. I think it's very good for white if this were to happen. I think very good for white. So, yeah. So Mr. Teddy has to decide upon this one here. Okay, which one? Oh, man, we got so many good games happening. Let's see quickly Nepo and Nicholas. Nepo with the... Hey, where's the eval gauge here? Oh, they drew already. Oh, because it's been concluded. The game had just finished. That is why. Alexander Grishchuk. Let's have a look here. Alexander Grishchuk with blacks. And Adeban for India with whites. Hey, this bishop is just suffering, man. This bishop is suffering because of the pawn blocking its own guy. And Alexander Grishchuk has a passed pawn on the A file. Really, I'm not sure how you're stopping. This guy is actually a little bit of a nightmare, I gotta tell you. So this black pawn looks... Well, you can't push it now. Because actually, freaking hell, you can. Actually, you sort of can. Oh boy, actually, you can. That is a past pawn, you know what I mean? It really is. No, you can't push it for Christ's sake. It's a disaster. Because rook takes. And queen is being attacked now. So they got to sort the queen first. Queen c3. Queen c3. Queen c3. If there's anything, queen g7. Okay, let's just reconsider quickly. That was a mouse slip, man. Queen takes c3. You go away from the knight. Yeah, you're going to drop this guy, I guess, but you can't have them all. Queen c3. You have to move the queen. So if you want to defend the pawn, probably queen b5. If you want to defend the pawn. If you want. And probably you should want to defend the pawn, right? So Gaston, what would you personally play? Would you play queen b5 or would you play queen takes c3? So let's put it this way. What would you do, guys? Would you do queen b5? Move the queen to safety, defending twice the a4 black pawn? Or would you play queen c3, queen b5, queen c3? Have we missed anything? Queen b5 is also an attacking move. You see, you practically attack the knight. I don't know what to say. But you could take the pawn and still attack the knight, though. So queen c3, you take a pawn and you move the queen to safety. You take a pawn to thirdly, you attack the white knight. So it's like three things happening if you capture queen c3. Unless I'm missing something. Yeah, I like queen c3. And from a... Yeah, but queen... Queen. Yeah, queen c3, though. Queen b5 still defends the pawn. Queen c3 actually loses the pawn after rook takes, no? Yeah, well, if it was that simple, I guess Grishchuk would have moved already. But the fact he didn't move actually means he's still thinking about this one because it's not very obvious. It's not very simple. And yeah. What have we got in here? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Well, that is Grishchuk playing. Let's see what Magnus and the other fella did. Whoa. Knight takes c4, exactly as we said. Knight takes c4, rook takes c4. Knight c5. I was actually imagining here bishop d3 as a potential reply from white, but I guess knight c5 is good because it hits the rook and attacks the bishop on d7 and attacks the b7 pawn. So let me highlight now. The first target, rook on e4. Second target, well, I mean, it's good to get rid of that guy, I guess. Because if they take this, you might be able to just do this kind of stuff. I think quite problematic for black. And also, knight attacks the b7. So I think it's quite a few threats happening. Rook attacks queen. Well, you have to move the queen. Queen to b3 goes to safety. And probably you notice, guys, let me just do some nice arrows here. Looking at this and looking at this in principle, we're looking at f7. We do. So just to highlight the potential threat, as soon as the bishop on f4 goes somewhere, whatever that means. So bishop now to e8 to just protect f7, exactly as we spoke. Now the b7 hanging all day. I'm not sure that's the strongest one, but looks like. You could potentially go and take on b7. Okay. And Magnus is enjoying a pass pawn. Knight to b7 seems to be so compelling to play it. And then hell, maybe you could take with a bishop too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, good stuff for white here. Probably very many options here, all positive for Magnus to choose from. Board number 1, FIDE World Rapid and Blitz in Qatar, playing right now. Hey, knight b7, I did say that. Seems to be a normal stuff to play here. Knight to b7. Oh, where's the board? Yeah, knight to b7. Queen to b6, knight jumps back on c5, double pressure on a6. Let me just 1 and 2. So yeah, it looks like white's winning. And if you want to make it even more funky, you could just think about this pawn going forward. Anyway, this is black's turn to play, so let's not rush. Black's to move. Black's to move. But there's quite a few threats. I think Eduardo has an issue now. Well, there's got a couple of issues actually on this game. There's a couple of issues, and 2 of them had been highlighted with red arrows on the screen right now. I'm not sure how you're stopping these. I'm really not sure. So he took. Bishop takes, rook takes. Okay. A6 now hanging. If that's strong enough. But, yeah, A6. You're going to take with a bishop, right? Bishop takes A6. You take a pawn, you attack the rook on C8. The rook has to move. Right? This knight is monster of a knight. Very strong. And would you... Okay, so did he take? Yes. I said exactly that would have been my choice as well. Because bishop takes a6, not just that, you took a pawn, you attack the rook on c8, and medium long term, my friends, medium long term, white enjoys the 2 passes, A and B respectively, and it's going to be pretty much mission impossible for black to stop those. And any pieces that come off the board now, any further tradings actually will facilitate an easier endgame for white. Again, 2 passed pawns. You give this to Magnus, the game is good as lost, unless God knows what craziness could take place, but I'm not very convinced, particularly after something like bishop c4. And if you envisage here, we already got a triple attack on f7, so difficult. Again, maybe there's something else I'm missing. Maybe there is bishop b7. I didn't even look at bishop b7, but it might be. Oh, wait a minute. So this, which one is it? Bishop b7 attacks, you're going to take off the knight, but probably bishop c4 even more aggressive because, as we said, bishop to c4 would make a hell of a triple attack on f7. This is a strong point of attack, bishop c4 and f7. And practically at some point, you just need to look for tradings. If you imagine now white would, if all of a sudden the pieces all disappeared, and if you just keep the pawns, then white's winning. So all you need to do is just trade off the pieces. But still, I think bishop c4 would be my first choice. Because if I take on c6, maybe rook takes, and I'm not sure. Bishop c4 though. Yeah. I'm happy to see that some of my ideas get endorsed by the one and only MC Hammer of the World Chess. The hammer of the planetarian chess, Magnus Carlsen himself. So bishop c4, knight now, not just that defends, but also attacks the attacker. Rook, now getting funky. Why? When this guy takes, and we take, also there is a chance that we might be able to play rook takes, and then queen f7. We actually check and checkmate. So this is another idea that black has to be careful with. It's not just for sure, right? And time is not doing very well for Eduardo. It's going low on time now. Rook f6 tried desperately to neutralize that very strong attack on the f7. Now, if you take, black's going to take back with the queen, I'd assume. But the reason white is winning here is because they've got A and B. Yeah. So rook takes now. I assume queen takes, right? He ain't going to take with a pawn. Queen takes, of course. And the reason for which white's supposed to win is because they've got just simply two passed pawns. So every single trade that takes place, actually, it's further encouragement for it's easier for white to win. I guess you just push the pawn. Well, can you? Let me think. Push the pawn. This guy takes. Yeah, exactly. Push the pawn. If bishop takes, rook takes, and then checkmate. Exactly. So h6 being played, but it's a bit too late. Everything is too late. White's going to push again. A4 to a5, and good luck, good luck, good luck, and good luck. I don't know. That is just simply game over, I guess. Because it's two passed pawns. You give Magnus two passed pawns, the game is over. So this guy lasted like, what, 31 moves? Yeah, I think it's Desperado. Okay. Nothing really works, right? You can't do that. You can't do rook d4, because if you do rook d4, just rook takes. Just game over. And if you play queen, okay, queen takes, rook takes, it's just simply game over. There is nothing for Eduardo to play. There's just so nothing for Eduardo to play. I guess you just push the pawn, right? You just go with this guy forward. A or B, which one is it? You guys gonna tell me. But I guess you could just play a4 to a5 and just that about it. Okay, he plays queen move, queen to e4. That is, you can't play the rook. It's done, I guess. Doesn't even matter, really, man. Probably black should resign. Because of those two highlighted free pawns. What does that do? It doesn't do a damn thing. It attacks the knight, that's what it does. It does attack the knight. You want to do crazy stuff? Queen takes, rook takes, rook. Nah, you don't do that crazy stuff. Okay, queen to b4 tries to put a stop to some A pawn moving forwards or B pawn moving forwards. So Magnus just save itself some seconds and push to h3. Okay, he waits for black to make a mistake or something. Okay. Okay. Black's to play. Just not too many good options. And the main issue here is the two white pawns. Magnus probably would preserve those and push them at the right time. Black's to move though. I don't know, there's no good move. You can't move the rook. I mean, you can't move the rook vertically on the d file because you drop the bishop, so. He moved it though on the 8th rank just to double attack the knight, which Magnus replied with rook c1, defending that attack piece. So he got now double defense. Takes and takes. I don't know, there's nothing to do really. He gonna resign, man. Okay, now it's a full piece up. I guess you could just play this. Okay, he moved the king. He moved the king check, but queen blocks. I guess you could play something like this and invite any possible trade, which are very beneficial for white at this stage now. I don't see what else is happening here. Queen takes, king takes, and then some knight to c3 and game over. This is game over for quite some time. It's pretty much game over. I don't see any way to play here and to even hope for a draw or anything. Now, the only stuff left, maybe for Eduardo, is to trade the queen, trade the rook, and see if you can get rid of both white pawns, because obviously knight and king versus king can't be a victory. So I guess it could be another little idea for black. Trade the queen, trade the rook, and see if you can trade both white pawns, in which case it's going to be a draw. But let's see how this one is going to actually work in reality. Rook c6, I guess. Rook c6 with the idea rook g6. I think this is the plan for which Eduardo played rook c6, the rook lift. The down lift, I don't know how to say it. Rook c8, c6, in order to play rook g6. And you could see the queen and the rook attacking g2. Ah, that is sweet. So if you take my guy, I'm going to take your queen. Ain't that sweet? Yeah. Now, if you play rook g6, do you know what happens? Queen takes. Pawn takes. And rook b8. Nothing really works for black. Nothing really works here. But I'm curious to see if black would be able to trade both white pawns in the end. So we'll see about that. I am curious. And it's going to be quite fast because it's like a couple of seconds left, really. Okay. Rook takes. Oh, man. What? Now, this guy is really persistent. He is actually going to go into a rook 3 pawns versus queen 2 pawns. I think it's quite instructive because now Magnus has to find a miraculous fork so that he could grab that rook. But let's see how it's gonna happen. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna enjoy this. Oh yeah. So let's see how he's gonna do it. It's a grinding endgame. It's something that people say that actually Magnus enjoys it the most. Do this kind of grinding. So let's see how he's gonna wins it. How is he going to win it? I'm still streaming as of now. If you want me to speak, I gotta stop the mic for a sec. Okay. Well, 25 seconds here. And 28 seconds for white. Yeah, we may need to pause this one. Come back perhaps a little bit later now. All right, fellas, I'll see you a little bit later because there's some other things.